Man. We are live. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you very much for tuning in. I'm super stoked today to be joined by Nicola Jayne Little of Mint Business Club. This has been something I've wanted to do for a long time, and that's actually to get clients and partners that we work with on our live sessions as well, and telling a bit about your story. So, Nicola, thank you so much for joining me today. It is absolutely lush.
Of course. Of course I'll do this. Super stoked. It's just me and you having a chat, which is basically every day.
Totally. Just you and I having a chat. For those of you that haven't joined us on a live stream through StreamYard before, what you may need to do, you can post questions, you can post comments to us as they come through. What you will need to do is just give StreamYard access. Otherwise, as we're talking, we'll get the notification, we'll see the question or comment, but we won't know who it's from. And this is all about community, and it'll be great to see your image pop up on screen alongside your question. Otherwise, if you can just drop your name against the question, that'll be great, or comment, but let us know. So all you need to do is click on the link, streamyard.com/Facebook, give that authorization, and you'll be able to do it. Post your questions and comments to Nicola and I as we go through, but let us know you can see and hear us. Can you see us okay? Can you hear us? Drop those questions, those comments in. Don't forget to say hello, but please do let us know that you can hear us and see us as well. So thank you very much for that. Nicola, as I said, this has been something I've been absolutely itching to do for months. And I think you've got a fantastic story to tell. Obviously, I want to talk about Mint and what you guys are doing there. But more, you've had such a varied journey from, let me get this right, teacher, not necessarily in this order, recruiter, marketeer, entrepreneur, mentor. So many things can describe you. Take me through your journey. How did all of this start?
Well, so
we've got an hour.
When I was a kid, you see, my entire family have run their own small businesses at one point, and I do mean my entire family. So my granny and granda had a shop. They were shopkeepers. My mum and dad had shops. One of them, my nana and my auntie, bought off them, and they ran as the whole shop. My cousins are self-employed, two of them. One of them has actually taken a job now, but he's been self-employed forever. My brother is self-employed. So like my entire family base has at some point, ventured into self-employment, and they've all had then, employment as well. But what I know is that as a kid, it was the most exciting thing in the world that my mum and dad had the sweetie shop on the corner, right? And me and my brother were in this sweetie shop helping, and I was helping, and my brother was nicking all the sweets. He'd be like, one for you, one for me. He was about 6, and I didn't dare do that. I was so scared of getting wrong with my dad. But our kid, of course, so the whole family, and my auntie lived next door, so our two shops were together. And there was this buzz because the community came in, right? So all the people came in, and everybody knew my mum and dad. And my dad would know what people were going to buy before they walked in the shop. So this sense of community from being really, really small and understanding what it took. I mean, I saw the pain when I was little. We sold the shops when I think I was 10. I remember how difficult it was when the supermarkets opened and they just wiped my mum and dad out, man. Our business just went because the supermarkets came along, and of course, couldn't. And that was in the 80s. You couldn't do anything about that right then. Yeah. So my whole life, surrounded by these small business owners. Then into recruitment, teaching, selling shoes. I've sold pretty much everything, every kind of retail, jewelry, what you like. And here I am. And it's 13 years this September since we launched our first business. Wow. So the in-between bit was a big chunk, but 13 years this September. I can't believe it. Can't believe it's been 13 years since I've been working by myself, which has been torrid as well, and perfect and brilliant, and torrid again. So yeah, there's a bit that's gone on, like
just a bit, yeah. Not bad for a lass for South Seals, is it? Really?
Yeah, not bad for a lass. I mean, you kind of. Listen, I was talking to my friend yesterday. You kind of get to 45 and not have had a few bumps along the road and done a few different things, eh? And it's the same in your business, There's so much stuff that happens, but yeah, we've done a little bit.
So, I mean, you start. What was the first thing you did? Teaching as a profession?
Goodness, no. I guess working in my dad's shop. No, when I was a kid, 16, I went into McDonald's. That was a treat. I didn't like that at all. Jewelry sales, one of the big DIY companies I worked for, had 2 or 3 jobs the whole way through uni. But I guess my first job, I was at Durham University Business School, and I was selling for the YMCA, so one of their residential centres. When I was 20, what was that, 22, selling, booking people out. And funnily enough, that I've been working with them as a client. The YMCA don't have that building anymore, but about 20 years later, I ended up working again with my first ever full-time employment, the wonderful Weardale Activity Centre. So it was full circle. Strange how things come around. But yeah, I was working in sales, then recruitment, did 5 years in recruitment, 5 or 6 years, and then went into teaching after that. So it's been a bit varied. But everyone's, I don't understand. You see, this is me, right? Like, I don't get people who stay in a job forever. Like, there were teachers I'd worked with who'd gone through school and college and into the same school and hadn't ever worked anywhere else. And I used to be like, gosh, like, you've never done anything else. Like, you've never seen anything else or been around different people. I mean, there were spectacular teachers, don't get us wrong, but they had never done anything else. I mean, goodness.
So what caused that change of direction? What kind of coming out of teaching into business?
Do you want the proper answer or the actual one?
I want the actual answer.
So a little bit of politics, a lot about me not fitting in. So I have a yearly cycle where I have to have a big shift every year, which I didn't work out till about 3 years ago. And I just thought there was something wrong with us. I mean, I stayed in teaching for 6 or 7 years. So it's not, but about every year I need the next woof thing. But I just didn't fit in, Darren. I don't fit in. And it broke my heart through my 20s and my poor dad. And I'd be like going home crying, going, Dad, I just don't understand. I'm in this situation again, crying my eyes out. Why don't they get us? Why don't I see what they see? Why don't they see what I see? Always. Yeah. So I'm an absolute nightmare to manage, as you might guess now, working with us this much. I just didn't fit in. But the trouble with that was I wanted to. So I invested so much energy trying to conform, trying to be what people wanted me to be in that situation. And teaching as one, I was only bothered about the kids. Yeah. I wasn't bothered about getting wrong, if you like, of senior managers. I was bothered about the kids. And that put me at odds sometimes with the situation in the school, because obviously the school is the school and you've got your head, you've got your deputy. I was senior management, man. Didn't fit in at all. Didn't work.
I could. Well, no, we how long have we known each other now? A couple of years. You've always struck me as someone who would seek forgiveness rather than permission.
Absolutely, and did. And the thing is there's some situations that I look back now and I think, God, you could have handled that better. But the outcome wouldn't have been different for the child. So therefore, I wouldn't have done it any differently now. I would have just been even louder now. So, but that obviously, from a management perspective, I am it's horrible. It's horrible. I couldn't imagine trying to manage me. I can't manage myself. Yeah. And there were too many situations. And it was so sad because I just used to try and change myself all of the time to fit in, and it didn't work. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. We are who we are. Do you know what I mean? We have our strengths and our weaknesses, and finding somewhere we fit. Well, I had to create mine. And I know many of our small businesses talk in the same way. They just wasn't for them. They need to create their own. They need to understand what their skill sets can give for their life. So I was no different in that respect. Although definitely got into more bother than most, I think.
So yeah, but I think what you're saying there was interesting. There's someone just posted on the feed that louder. Can you hear us okay now? Let us know in the comments that the audio sounds okay. That should be fine. Let us know. The one thing I think is interesting there is you mentioned about the key thing there for you was always around the kids and making things better for the kids. And I've been working with you for a couple of years, and I've seen that so much transfer now over to the members within the community, within Mint Business Club, is that everything you're doing is all around them and what they're doing. So I think it is about having that passion. But what was the journey like to transition
What,
husband here,
between
Nicola, being there.
employment?
Yeah. So
Oh my gosh.
what made you kind of go, right? Where did that idea come from, the first business, and what was the driver behind that?
Okay, well, I've just swapped mics over because I realised I was on the default mic, which I think is in the computer. So if anybody's listening, can you tell us? Because I've just swapped mics over. This should be louder now. So apologies for that if that was me. So I went to school one day. Now, so in the March time, I'd been like, I really want to I think I'm going to run my own business. I'm going to have a go at this. I was really unhappy at school, but I was very unhappy in my personal life. So there was a lot going on. I wasn't making decisions clearly, shall we say. Yeah. And I decided that I would have an environmentally focused online magazine 13 years ago, before people really knew about blogging and stuff like that. So I would do this thing, and we went off, me and Suzanne, I dragged Suzanne into it, and off we went, and we pitched our stall in a tent in Newcastle at the Green Festival. So it will have been 13 summers ago, and just said, you know, if we were going to launch this online website, and it's about the products, it's about small business, it's about buying local, would you be interested? And of course, there was a few people who said there were. So alongside working full time, and I was a Senko, so I was I ran a nursery and a reception, and I'm the special needs coordinator. I was just doing this in every hour I had, and I gave my notice in the October to my then boss and said, you know what, I'd really love to do is maybe drop 1 day a week, because I work about 7 days a week for you anyway. Drop 1 day a week. It'll be my day that I'm not in class, and run this along the side. And he just looked at it and said, decide what you want to do. You're either with us or not.
Yeah.
Right. So I went, okay, well, I'm not then. And then I had a little bit of a torrid time for a few weeks because he didn't speak to us. This is the head of my school. And then I left at the Christmas, you see. And I had no idea what I was doing. I mean, I can't tell you how little I knew. I mean, literally, I had this idea. I was going to do this thing. We'll have this business. We'll run events. We'll get all of this great content. I'll get sponsors. It'll be fabulous. Not a clue what I was doing at all. And it basically remained like that for 5 years, where we were winging it and winging it and winging it. And we bought another company into that one, and we tried this and we tried everything. People didn't understand what we're trying to do. I had business advisors, old bank managers saying, this will never work. What, you want a magazine online? That's never going to work. I mean, it was just extraordinary. And I took a second job, and I didn't pay myself for the first 3 years. So it was just, I might as well have been chucked off a mountain for all I knew and was trying to learn. It was just extraordinary times. And some of the best times I've ever had, of course, because one of the reasons I work for myself is it's my decision. It's my decision, right or wrong. If it goes wrong, it's on me, and if it goes well, it's on me. Yeah. But it was the baptism of fire like nothing I've ever had. And ultimately, those first 5 years, that I call that my proper degree in business management. Never mind the qualifications I had. I had 5 years, me and Suzanne trying our best. We had staff at one point. We had three people, I think, working for us. We grew a database of 70,000 in a newsletter at that time. Facebook wasn't like it is now. I mean, you just didn't have anything like it is now. Yeah. But we were winging it, mate, winging every moment. And there were a lot of tears and a lot of stress, and basically 80 hours a week. That's what it was. A second job of the lot. Yeah. Brilliant, because I'm sitting here now.
Well, that was the thing. Is what were some of those key learnings from that kind of you've taken forward into Mint, and how has that spurred you on, and what are those key lessons for you?
Okay, so the very first one, I talk about this all the time, is your value in your business. And we talk about value, the value you bring to us as a club, Darren. But if you don't have time for yourself, respect yourself, understand yourself and your business, you're going nowhere. And for me, I didn't pay myself. I thought everybody else was worth paying, not me. I didn't understand how important I was in that. And it's ridiculous to look back on that. But, and I see it now with members, I see that they just don't understand their own importance, and they're not caring for themselves enough to understand that they are the linchpin of this little tiny business. Their future depends on them getting this right. And that's scary. So, understanding you and your role in your business for me, your mindset is everything. Beyond that, and of course, you know this, numbers. So we didn't understand our numbers, which is where the course that we call Deliver comes from. I didn't understand profit. I didn't understand loss. Sorry, I understood loss because there was no money in the bank. But I didn't understand on a daily, weekly, micro level, you know, what money was coming in, what cash flow, what does cash flow actually mean? Oh, well, it doesn't come in for 2 months, so you're skint. Or I used to sit every single day hoping there'd be enough money in to pay the staff. And you kind of go on like that because it just kills you off, you know. But understanding, you know, your money and your numbers properly gives you a real foundation to build from and to have a go from. But no, just not a clue. I mean, me and my dad were doing the accounts for the first 2 years because he'd done them in the shop, you know. So that for me and the community, I think understanding that sometimes the people at home don't get it or your family don't get what you're trying to achieve. I was lucky. Everybody I'd known had been in self-employment, but that made it worse because my mum was desperate for us not to do it. She, you know, they'd had a terrible time and they were like, please don't, you're giving up teaching to work for yourself.
That's it. They just don't want the band to go through all that pain, do they?
Absolutely. They just didn't want me to go through what they'd been through. So I think your community around you, knowing your numbers and understanding your value, they are the 3 things for me. Once your mindset is set, like we're unstoppable because people who start a business, you know, their courage is through the roof because it really, really is hard work. So, you know, for me then, knowing yourself and your business, you've got to, you know, yeah.
Awesome. I mean, but so why Mint? So obviously the community is great. We've got lots of our clients on here. Some of them haven't heard of Mint before. They may have heard of Mint, but not really understood what it is. And we'll get on to some of the reasons why we work together. But just take a few minutes to explain Mint and its ethos to some of the members of the business community if valued.
Well, it was named after the members because they're truly mint. And I used to say it all the time. So when we were looking for the rebrand, the club...
It's a pretty easy choice, wasn't it?
It was just really... But it wasn't the first choice. It wasn't obvious until it was really obvious. Okay, so we went through loads of different... We were rebranding from a business club that was just self-employed people into including also small businesses, people with up to 10 staff, you know, and, you know, because the self-employed people are starting to grow and they're starting to do stuff. I can't kick them back out, of course, if they start employing. So we thought, right, rebrand this away from, you know, what it used to be called. And we went through loads of different options and I was thinking, and none of it was working. And I just, one day, I rang Anna Brand, who's one of our members who rebranded us. And I went, do you know what? I just want to call it Mint. Because like everybody is Mint. The members are Mint. The training, what people do. And now just Mint. Is that just a bit too northeast? Or can I call it Mint Business Club? And she was like, yeah. Because of course that's my voice and that's what I used to say at every training session. I'd be like, God, you're Mint, you are, right? And then that was it. And then that was it. There we were. And it's lush because I can genuinely say the business club was named after the people it is there to serve. Yeah. Truthfully, honestly, because the Mint, our members, I mean, you see it all the time. You know, you're part of it.
Absolutely.
The way they go on.
But it was interesting for us because, again, I think some people look at it and think it's a business club, it's networking. And I think that's underselling, to use a phrase, of what Mint is all about and how it works with its members. It's not, to me, it's never been around networking as part of it, but it's not
no, it's not networking. It is really hard to describe, but it's about your mindset as a business owner and coming to a place that you want to really achieve your ambition, whatever that is, whether it's small goals, big goals, whether you want to bring in 500 quid a month or, I don't know, 50 grand a month, it doesn't matter to us. It's about you achieving what you want. So the mix of sales, training, marketing, the way we promote people, the opportunities we bring, the mix of collaboration, but it's the support, it's that community. So if you're having a great day, you've got somewhere to share it. If you're having a really rubbish day, you've got help. And if I think of all the things that went wrong for me, I had nobody to turn to. You know, Suzanne and I just didn't know where to go. And people weren't doing it like that then. It was your proper business advisors who'd never run a business before, so they couldn't help us. Whereas now you've got this 180 people You just go in and go, this is happening. What do I do? And then that support just like flies out from you pause. And so you have a better chance of making it, because there are people who will support you and cheerleading you along the way and stop you making the disaster decisions, and at the same time, of course, you're learning and you're selling to one another, you're recommending one another. The members give of themselves, so they're training each other, they are meeting. I don't even know, like, we've got little mini groups and this, that, all over the place, because they just meet up because they become friends. People who you can rely on. And it's hard to put that into proper words, but it's just mint, man. It's just mint.
It's just mint. But you're right, it's not networking in the
no, it's not networking.
It
definitely don't ever join if you want a networking club. There are millions of networking places out there, the proper traditional in out, meet a few people, go networking, all of that. We are absolutely not that. Definitely not. And we wear our hearts on our sleeves, and that, Darren, doesn't suit everybody. We've had members come in who can't cope with the honesty, just can't cope with it at all, because people are so honest in the club and they share things that they haven't got another place to share, and that for some people just doesn't work. It doesn't work.
It's interesting you say that, because I think we started the conversation probably 2-3 years ago, just literally by being passing ships on the stairs in the same shared office, and then just very quickly realizing we had a lot of shared values and alignment around that. And we just reached out with if there's anything we could ever do to help your members and guide them. And that conversation just led on to us working with you guys and sponsoring you, which has been great for us. And we've seen a lot of the members really get benefit from that. And I think for us, there's so much more in the wider business community that can do that and join Mint and be part of that, get a lot of that feedback. I think you're right. I think it's interesting. They're not used to transparency in that sense.
No.
And I think we've mentioned it before. There's no blueprint for this for small businesses. Suck it and see isn't an approach. And we've said before, hope isn't a method.
No, hope's not a method. I remember posting that when you said it last time, because it's not a method, but that's what I was in. And that's the thing is most of the people who've come into the club, hope has been the method, right? I just hope I'll make enough sales. I hope I'll bring that money in. And of course, hope is not a method, but at least they're willing to learn how it changes from hope to something else. And genuinely, as our sponsor, Valued have been so extraordinary. The support you've given us beyond anything I could have asked for. But it's because you see value in what our members are doing. And I think in the business community, and I actually had a conversation within the last sort of week with somebody who it proved to me again that, self-employed people are seen as less sometimes within a business community. If you haven't employed 5 or 6 people, let's say, you're not even close, and everybody's aspiration should be to get to that. And I'm like, it's just not like that. It's just, I have 20 people in our supply chain. So I am giving work out left, right, and center to people in our membership. Does that mean that my business is less valuable because I don't employ staff? I don't think so. But it's a real sticking point out there that people who are self-employed are often overlooked because we're not important. Well, there's 5 million of us, so yes, we are. Actually, thanks very much. And we have the right to, achieve our dreams as well. If you don't want staff, which, by the way, I don't think I can ever see myself employing staff again, although I'll probably eat me words at one point, but it is hard to employ staff, number one. But there are different ways, Darren, of doing stuff. And, the supply chain we've got in Mint is extremely strong. It is about value. So, if I was to get another sponsor into Mint, there would have to be like you guys who actually care and genuinely see potential in the people I work with, because they've all got oodles of potential, right? For their own, and it's about what they want to achieve. It's not, I don't give a toodle about where you want to be. Just, are you where you want to be? That's the only thing that matters.
I think that's one of the things I've learned over the last year of us working together is there are so many different people in the community, so many members in the community who are at different stages. Some are a little bit more advanced in terms of their growth trajectory, but that doesn't mean to say they're more important, less important than someone who's just starting that.
Not at all.
And they all bring something different to the table, even though they may be in a similar industry. You've got people who are in branding, or creatives who do marketing.
Yeah.
It just that mesh of members is huge, and what I love is that honesty that they bring to the sessions they have with you, the boot camps they have with you, the training sessions they have, and to see their businesses grow. You and I have discussed this. You become so personally vested in them that you get so much back from seeing them grow and develop. So no, that's awesome. But I mean, talking about growth and development, I mean, look how, COVID is there. I'm not going to spend too much time on it, but it has impacted so many businesses and so many of your membership so really, really hard. But one of the things that you've consistently done over the last 4 months is really just be there every day, in some cases, doing your minty minutes of positivity. You've just completed day 80 of this as well, which I think is fantastic.
Or slightly, yeah.
Okay, but you've done 80 of them today.
Yeah, 80 live.
80 of them.
80.
But you've completely transitioned your business because you were classroom based.
Yeah.
Talk about that. What's that meant for Mint?
Well, it's the weirdest thing because I'm not quite there in my head with it. So, we were classroom based. We had all of our growth projections were on, getting out to more areas. We were going to launch in Teesside. In fact, the event we cancelled, so that was the Tuesday before lockdown officially, was the Teesside Taster, and we had like 50 or 60 people booked on that one. So I was heartbroken. Nonetheless, you cancel that. And we had never, ever trained online. Doing a live or going into a group and speaking live, got no bother with it at all. But never at all in any of my training right through Digital Sparkles. So for the last, 7 years, I had never, ever, ever done any kind of training online. And so to go from zero training online to we're going to train every single day for as long as people need us to do this was just like, well, it was that 1 year later big shift in my head that I always need, because I've never had a shift like it. We are still learning now. We're still working out what is best now. I'm lucky because obviously as a trained educator, trainer, teacher, I understand learning, I understand people and in that environment. So that helps an awful lot. Of course it does. But that was always classroom based, always, whether it was with the little kids or the adults. Being able to read a room, being able to look at a face and see if they're bored or not, or have I got that attention, or does everybody need the loo right now? That kind of stuff, how you work out how to take that online, extraordinary. But more than that, the fact that the members themselves, I didn't have anything planned other than maybe 2 or 3 sessions. And here I was saying, right, we're going to train every day. We've got to keep bringing people together. Well, the members just started training for each other. And I've got all those videos. There's 40 or 50 videos there of people who pushed themselves out of their comfort zone because as their worlds were collapsing, they needed something to cling to. So we have this vision of this polo mint, and we're all on this polo mint together. So where I couldn't train, they trained. And it was logistically extreme. And we sat there wondering if all the members would leave. So for many weeks, I didn't know if I'd have a business at all anyway. But the only thing I could think was we've just got to stay together, because whether I've got a business or not will depend on whether they've got a business or not. And some will leave, of course, some businesses won't survive. Yeah. But will we have a better chance of surviving if we stick together? It's everything, I think, our mindset, our community, that thing. And here we are, and we have this online business now, which, by the way, going back to the norm is not the case for me and for many of us, because I'm not going to go back to face-to-face training now. So I am creating the next part of this business. It's the next stage of this business, which is totally different from the last one. Wouldn't have done it. There's absolutely no way I would have done this without COVID. And for that, I'm not grateful for COVID, but you hear what I'm saying? It has forced me to completely reevaluate everything we're doing. And there is a lot of stuff better for it. Like the online training that you can record, this kind of stuff, Darren, that you can record and people will watch on playback. I didn't have that before. So the membership engagement is through the roof, right? If you've got 2 sessions a month training and people can't come, they can't come. And that's just the end of it. This stuff, you can come every day, sit at 11 o'clock at night in your pajamas and watch it if you want. I would never have got that from this. Never in my days. So here we are, totally different. We've survived. Most of our members have survived with us. It's been really tricky, but yet the worst day of my time in all of this was watching all my friends, and a lot of these people are my friends, having to shut their business overnight. That it can still make me tearful now, because that pain that we watched, the shock and the grief and the pain across the membership, you like, that is the moment for us to stand up and go, right, how are you? Yeah, we'll be all right later. But
it's so true. I can't. There's a comment come out. It's awesome to see how you've reacted in these crazy times. Whoever posted that, thank you very much for that. We're not seeing your profile come through, but thank you very much. I think that sums it up. I think it is, and you're right. When you see businesses that you know personally having to kind of close, it's heartbreaking for you.
Literally, and watching their heartbreak was my heartbreak. Honestly, like, to me, I was, it'll be there. Not everybody's going to leave, but so in my head, I had this. It's gonna be a struggle, but I didn't think it would ever shut. You see, but I was watching all of those. You saw all of our businesses, our salons. All of them just shut down and just go, oh my God, we've shut the doors. Like, what we're going to do? And that was like staggeringly painful when you become really invested, when people become your friends, which, people are my friends. I consider many of our members my friends now. So to watch that, and in that moment, that's me. I kick into the looker after her. I will look after you, because if I do that, then I'll be better for it. And, when you run your own business, you can be utterly true to yourself, and you can be your own person, and your values, everything can come through at every moment if you choose for it. And that was me. I just wanted to look after. So we're all right. And you know what? By goodness, didn't they look after me too? All the kindness that came back to me. I mean, I'll never forget it, Darren, ever.
No, I think that's the true, never a true word said, to be honest. I think the karma bus definitely kind of came round for that. And I think because you opened yourself up very early on, very quickly, to make it about the members and what they needed and what they was key for them. You were such a linchpin of just someone for them to share with. And absolutely, I think, talking to you privately, and hearing about just, how many people churned or were thinking about that, it didn't have the impact that you felt it would have had. And I think the members really rallied around you and stuck with you, which has been fantastic, especially in a subscription-based business model as Mint is. Which is phenomenal for you.
We did, we obviously were trying to work out figures, how many people leave. Will half the members leave? What does that mean? What do we look like? We give up the office very quickly, and that was very painful, because I loved my training suite. I loved all this, we were in the same building as you, etc., etc. It hurt, but it didn't hurt that much eventually, so you just get on with that. We have to make tough decisions in our businesses. That was one of mine. But, so was offering people the chance to have a membership break. I didn't know what else to do. People's businesses closed. So I just didn't feel right to take people's money off them in a time where there was no money coming in. And that was my choice. And maybe other people would have done it differently. I'm not sure how many membership clubs genuinely offered a membership payment break because they were bothered enough to do that. But what was the choice, Darren? People would have just left anyway. So you might as well have people there so we can still support. And it has come back. And what was lovely, of course, was this wasn't all members. Some members have done more and have done better, and their online stuff is better. They've made more sales online. I have seen people really flourish, and they have then helped and dragged other people through. So it wasn't all horrendous doom and gloom, shock, but people have flourished in this time. People are dying, and that's been inspirational, how you can see people's businesses just change positively, and there was a lot of conversation about, is that right? Should I still be selling? Should I this? But of course people are still buying. That hasn't actually stopped. People are changing their ideas about what they want to buy. You're not filling the car with petrol anymore because you've got nowhere to go. So you go online and you spend that petrol money on something.
Totally. And I think you gave so many members confidence because you could flip your business into online for them to do it and for them to pivot. And how they a lot of them just actually started doing online courses, switching on to doing better things, even launching new products, new ranges, new services through that time. Absolutely phenomenal.
It's just phenomenal. And, people who, Barbara Allen, if you ever listen to this, right, whose membership, she teaches French. She's face-to-face French teacher for people over 60 in the main. And she sat with me going, there is no way I can get these people to do this on Zoom, Nicola. And I was like, yeah, you can just have a go. Because 60, 70, 80-year-olds are going to have to use Zoom if they're going to see any of their family. Yeah. Anyway, doesn't she just turn her business around a month later and I think 90% of them had signed up for Zoom calls? Yeah. And she just came to us going, in my days, I would never have thought. You see, this is the assumption we have, this assumption piece. It's just, don't assume people won't pay. Don't assume people won't learn a new technology if that's what they're forced to do. And I'm so proud of her. I was so proud of her because she was like, I can't. And then it just happened. And now she can. And she is. And so when 80-year-olds, 70 and 80-year-olds are using Zoom to learn French in that way, anybody can have a look at this stuff and think, what can I do? Because it's just what can I do for my customers, isn't it? What can I do to serve my customers throughout this crisis? Totally. Well, as we take that forward, crisis lessons, what do we do to service our customers better? That's the lesson out of this, is how do you continuously service your customers better? Hence the Net Promoter Score that you've got us all doing at the moment.
Yeah, sorry.
Utterly blaming you for my obsession with this thing. Thanks very much.
You're welcome. It's pushing you forward.
I know.
If you've got questions or comments, post them in the feed. Absolutely fine. Don't forget to say hi. No, look, I think you're right. Look, it is about growth, and we want to push forward. We've seen that in so many members. Them just wanting to understand more about the numbers. What does that mean? Even just things like business planning and having an idea of if stuff happens, how can we mitigate that? And now we see a cohort of the members saying, look, I want to push on with customer service and excellence, and that's awesome to see. And working with me, I love seeing that action that comes off the back of it.
It's your brilliant training, so it's all your fault, right? Yeah. So just, if anybody's watching, he'll not have it, but he's absolutely superb. Is our DJ Daz, as one of our mid trainers, right? So you see, this is about added value, isn't it? Extra value. You work with value, and you get all of this extra. But Darren, your training has been exemplary. But it is about pushing on. It's about that growth piece. So if you're frightened to ask your customers what they think of your service, we need to pick that apart and understand what that is about. Because we should all be asking our customers if we're doing a good job, and if we're not, then we need to be changing what we're doing, right? Because they have to get that value. So this training you did last week, well, honestly, I've never been so obsessed with numbers in my life. Like,
not to say there's a little bit of competition between a few of you either. So no, not at all.
Yeah, of course, the three of us who are like now going, when did you get? What's going on?
So when Vicky, Danielle, and Nicola start getting their heads together and all comparing scores, it's going to be great. We love that.
We're already in a little mini group, by the way, doing that.
I thought you may be. So from us, so if we've got customers of value sitting here and they're thinking, well, Mint may be for me. What's the cost for joining Mint?
So for a monthly membership for someone who's self-employed, it's £25 a month. Ridiculous, I know. For a micro business, 5-6 staff maybe, it's £40 a month. So if you wanted one or two of your staff to pick up all the training we do, then that's £40 a month. Our members that push on, they join our boot camps, and I've got 4 business boot camps running, which is an extra 2 sessions a month. That's an extra 30 quid. So you're looking at somewhere between 25 and up to, would be £70 a month. So, self-employed people coming to boot camp as well, they're investing quite an awful lot in what we do for them. So they have to see that return. And we work very hard to make sure that they see that return, whether that's new sales, new ways of working, proper processes, or just the confidence to do it. So that's what we're about. We do have a community membership as well, where if you literally don't want to come to all the training and you just want to bounce into one session a week, that's £15, and you come in the Facebook group as well. But the opportunities we create, put your blog post on, put your offers in here, do a beta training course with some of our members before you launch it, do the customer service in the membership before you go into a wider community if you want to. And I think I mean, for example, the community membership came when people had maybe 2 years of training. Like, I don't need as much training now, but I can't bear to leave. What can you do? Well, you'll have to pay, but you can still stay in the community, and I can reduce that. And so I actually worked out the community membership with people who just didn't want to leave, but didn't need everything that we did. And so we now have a new channel. We now, and that's because people asked me.
And do you do taster events for Mint? When's the next taster
events? Yeah, we're doing online taster events now. They're popular, and we get new members. We recruit every single time we do them, so it gives us a chance to encourage people to come. We facilitate a session, and you're always with one of our groups, aren't you? So, to work on their business for that morning, to ask questions, to ask for support, guidance, to talk about what's going on in the business. So the taster sessions really give a flavour for how Mint is different, that it's not just sit there, watch this, do this training, because our training's not like that anyway, but it's about you coming in and getting time back to work on your business. So next taster session is in September, in the first week, I think, but I can share a link to that, but we're not doing one until September.
Okay. And if they want more information about that, they can just go to the Mint Business Club website.
Mintbusinessclub.co.uk. Thank you. Look at that.
Hey, I'm all prepped and prepared, you see. This is what I preferred earlier.
Oh, you're good. At Mint Biz Club on all social channels as well. Find me. I basically link with everybody. So if you send us a Facebook request, I'll be your friend. Expect to get moved into the community village.
Absolutely, but I think it's for anyone who's thought about it and maybe hasn't seen the benefit of other networking groups. As I say, this isn't networking. This is a business community where it's about education, learning, sharing experience, and being part of a much brighter community. Go to one of the free tasters. Just drop a hint that you were referred to via Valued, so we could obviously mention that. We'll see how many people are coming through from us, but go to the next taster event in September will be the next thing. So we've seen Mint go from strength to strength. More courses. You mentioned earlier about transitioning to online. What's the next step for you?
Well, I'm going to talk to you about it privately, actually.
Okay, anything you want to share with the audience now? No, fair enough. Okay, fair enough.
I think for us, what we have to do is learn how to do what we're doing better. You can't just, effectively we've relaunched 4 months ago, and so we're still learning how to do it. We're doing well, don't get me wrong. We have attracted new members. It's weird because I've got members in the business that I don't know and I haven't met. I mean, there's about 35 people that I've literally never met for the last 4 months, but we just have to get better. We have to be stronger at this. We have to know what our offer is. Our new updated website will be launched probably at the end of this week. There's no pressure on that, so it'll be either this week or next week. We've got to keep it up. We've got to understand what the sweet spot is in the amount that we deliver. Because what's interesting, Darren, now is there's almost too much. People are getting busy again, and people are back to work now, and most of our members are back. And of course, the rush that they're going through now, for especially the salons and stuff, look at my nails, they can't for the next 2 months attend stuff. So we've gone from having to do so much to keep people tight to what is the optimum amount of sessions a week that we should be running. We're just trying to still work that out. So I think we've got the rest of this year where by Christmas I want to understand that the business I'm running is this proper online training business, that we understand it. Makes sense. That's this year for us. And then of course, the government announced that we could probably do business events from the 1st of October. That was interesting. So the business expos and stuff may come back in October. Where does that then shift us again? How much and how would we take back offline? So we can't really think about that until we know what we're doing online.
No, absolutely. I think that's a really interesting point, and I also think it's also subject to how people feel about all this as well, which is a big thing for you, as you know. I think it's going to be interesting to see how Mint develops, but certainly, we wish you as a sponsor, all the very best with that. I think, certainly speaking from experience, it's all about the members, and it is just about how much you give back to them. So a huge thank you on behalf of everyone for us. But really great stuff.
Thank you.
No, but yeah. So I think if you are interested in knowing a little bit more about me, go to the website, connect with Nicola on the social channels. One thing I always love asking people when we talk about this, and it is really about your story and how you've evolved. One question I always love to ask is, if you could go back 13 years now to yourself, what piece of advice would you give to yourself back then?
Oh, calm down a bit, it'll be all right, and believe in yourself. But just calm down a little bit, but believe in the strength that you have, because you have got it. Because I think for many, many years, I didn't think I had any value in that business. There was too much other stuff going on. And I think that I'd be in a different situation if I understood, that I had a worth in that. And it's really personal, that, Darren, but genuinely, if I was going back saying that stuff doesn't matter, just understand that you've got enough drive and ambition, and that you will use that to your benefit, and for a while I didn't, and it really made a mess of things. So and that's what I try and teach all the time now. We are all our uniquely brilliant individual mint selves, and embrace that, and don't be trying or listening to people telling you what you ought to do or what is right for you in your business. There are some business basics, aren't there? The foundations, we've got to get those right, the numbers, but you got to trust your gut as well, and your instinct, and who you are, yourself. So I wish I'd done a little bit more about that. I could have done with knowing you 13 years ago as well. That would have helped.
That's very kind. But no, I think that's an interesting point. And I think it's one that, as all business owners, we need to become a little bit more self-aware, I think, of who we are.
But positive self-awareness. It is absolute that you will beat yourselves up, say you've done rubbish. Or, every training session I ever did, it started with someone saying to me, I know I'm not doing enough. I know I'm not. And I'd be like, it doesn't matter to me. It matters to you whether you think you are doing enough. That is not about me per se. So, if you come to me as a trainer and go, I know I'm not doing enough, I know I'm not, then what is that actually about? Because that's not about digital skills. That's about the whole, isn't it? And it's also a thing to beat yourself up with. We can always do more. Of course we can, but it's got to be the right more. It's got to be the right stuff we do more of, rather than just hope. As you said, hope is not a way to grow your business.
No, it's not. And I think, you as well, you're such a workaholic. And if anyone hasn't really got this from Nicola is such a workaholic that you will see. You often see Nicola at the very late hours of the evening, first thing in the morning, on social, tweeting, posting Facebook messages, and really being there for the community. Do you see yourself changing, or do you see yourself doing that less, or not?
I think I am better at switching off and taking time out when I recognize when I need to. I think that I am compelled, because it's part of me, just to reach out and help. So if I wasn't doing this, I'd be doing something else, reaching out and help, and it would still all be crazy hours. And that I am really comfy with now, whilst all of the years people have said, stop, you've got to stop, right? It's just not who I am. I'm this. So, but I'm better, I think, at looking and recognizing the times where you do need to step down. This is how I work, and I love it. It is a joy and a privilege to be able to help and support people every day, all the time. It's lush, right? What else would I be doing? Painting the walls again?
Painting the walls, maybe getting yourself to Barcelona, doing a touristy thing.
I've seen the news. Oh, I'm good.
We'll move on from that one. We'll move on. We've been going for 53 minutes, just over 50 minutes. But listen, I really wanted to just, hear from you, just informally have a chat with you, get you on, introduce you to our members and our community as well, because we've been doing so much with you for the Mint members. We wanted to reciprocate that. And, we've been working in partnership. I don't think many people know about that for the last 12 months. And it's been absolutely awesome for us to sponsor that and to see so many of the members grow and to have the relationship that we have with you. So I'm absolutely stoked about that. So thank you very much. If anyone has questions, post them in. We'll probably just keep it going for another 30 seconds or so in case you've got any questions for Nicola. Post them in there very quickly. Other than that, I'm just happy to kind of say hi. Yeah, great comment. You've helped so many people to see their own value, Nick. Well done. Again, sorry I can't see who posted that, but thank you very much for whoever that posted that. Yeah, Nicola, thank you so much. That's been absolutely awesome. You're welcome.
Do for us is it's just Parliament, man. And here's too. Oh, the next Let's Talk About Money sessions we've got. We
September.
start second week of September, isn't it? I think the Wednesday of the second week of September. So if any of this is funded training, everybody, so you're not paying for it. It's ERDF funded training. Darren and I do 4 weeks in a row. We do a couple of Sundays on Facebook maybe. And this is about your business plan. This is about your numbers proper. It's about your profit and your loss. It's about having a safe space to come and talk about money and numbers. So the next one isn't it the second week of September, I believe.
The second week of September, yeah.
Yeah,
so looking forward to that.
If you are interested, then obviously valued, I mean, I know you support a lot of bigger businesses than what I work with, but to be honest, the course you run and help us run, Darren, I think everybody would benefit from it.
Yeah, if we can share the links, I'll post it out so people can at least register for that if they're interested. Yeah. So let's get that out there. There is a little bit of pre-work that we like people to do, just so we can just judge and assess where you're at with that. But we'll start that probably early to mid-August, so you're prepped on it. Stephen has just kindly come in and said, great to hear about your journey.
As are you, mate.
Oh, awesome. Thank you very much for that, Stephen. Appreciate it. But yeah, let's talk about money in September. Looking forward to that. Next.
100 people we've helped through that, 100.
That's impressive.
Staggering. Since, I started something that I thought would be a coffee and people coming and talking to me about money and getting upset about it, because the conversation has to be had. We've got to start talking about money and numbers. And here we are 100 delegates later, through however many courses, and of course went online with that one as well. And I'm really proud of that. I'm really proud of the impact that our courses had made. There were a lot of people who are much more self-aware about their numbers and they're not as frightened anymore. And people who've been in business 5 and 6 and 10 years, if you recall, some of our members, they've been running for years.
Established businesses, absolutely.
Established businesses are cracking, and I just haven't got that foundation knowledge. So it's never too late to learn it, ever.
No, not at all.
That's the point.
Not at all. Listen, go and enjoy your lunch. Thank you so much for being on. And again, we've had a number of people join us, but we hope more people catch this on playback. But share the link. We'll drop those into the comments so people can grab that as well. Nicola, thanks very much. Take care.
Thank you so much for having us. See you later.
You're welcome. Bye.